All right, we are live,
Hi.
buddy. So, Blended Lines family, what's going on? It's your boy Cliff Jones, and we got the lovely Gretchen Harris, who's
Hello.
also a member in the group. And Gretchen is openly gay, and I want to put that out there because I wanted to interview a gay person specifically to find out some of the inequality that you all face from being gay. And you know how I am, man. I'm totally transparent, right? I hide nothing.
I know.
So um, when I was younger, I would consider myself to have been a homophobic, right?
Right.
And the reason being is because I got it from other family members. I'll keep it real, and I didn't know any better.
Right.
And they were just saying like, "Hey, this is wrong," and blah 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 blah. And I didn't know any better. I'm a kid, so I'm listening. I'm like, "Oh, okay," but thank God I've always been the type to always talk and listen to a person first. I've always been about where their heart is, right?
Right.
And over time, as I were around more and more gay people, I was like, man, what's the deal? Like they mad cool, And if I say anything derogatory, please let me know. That's another reason why I want to do this, because I try to be respectful of everybody. Things change over time, so some words may become offensive and not so
Well,
over
I
time.
can't speak for the whole gay community, but I'm not easily offended.
Okay.
You just
Okay. Yeah.
come at me. I was raised in a very conservative Christian household.
Hmm.
So I was raised with homophobia all around me, and
Wow.
I'm still kind of bitter with the church. For It almost caused me to lose my faith. It's a dangerous thing telling someone they're not worthy uh, of God. So that was a long, hard road for me. But I am a gay Christian, and I know a lot of people find that to be not okay. But it doesn't really matter what anyone else thinks. Is how I feel about that.
Exactly. Absolutely. And it's funny you bring that up because with the creation of Blended Lines, I always tell people that interview, like, the way it got set up was so quick, and then it just like exploded, and you know that.
Yes.
And so I'm learning so much, and I always tell people, like, when I created it, I was like, man, I thought I knew everything there was to white people. Like, I got white people figured out, right?
Right.
Man, I had no idea. But hell, I'm still learning stuff about black people, and myself. And that's the beauty of the group. But what I want to get back to is there was actually a member in the group who lost her faith because of the church, and it was due to racism. It wasn't she wasn't gay, but just because in one sentence they were praising Jesus, and in the next sentence they were dropping the N-word,
Right.
and
Right.
those stupid people, and it like blew her mind. She couldn't grasp that, and she left the church, and that was so heartbreaking to me, man, because my perspective is I'm a Christian. I don't knock anybody who's not. Even if you're an atheist, I still love you. But as a Christian, it really hurt me that it's that deep to where people would lose their relationship with God because being promoted in a hateful, contradictory way.
Right. It's dangerous.
It really is dangerous.
It's dangerous. Most of my friends are not Christians.
Okay.
I mean, some are atheists or whatever other religions, and
Mhm.
I have no problem with that at
Mhm.
all.
Mm-hmm.
I find Christianity to be one of the most dangerous religions, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I understand it. I always tell people that I'm spiritual. I'm not religious, spiritual.
Right. Me too. Yeah.
My thing is, I believe in Jesus, and it works for me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
For me, right.
Blended Lines came from him because he put that in my spirit to create it. And it's literally like I'm driving this big truck and I don't know where it's going. It's just like I'm hearing instructions in my ear, like go left, go right. And I'm going, but it's just turning into like this beautiful thing.
It is such a beautiful thing. This is a sacred space you've created, I feel like.
Well,
and I invited some people to the group. I probably invited about 10. And I was so picky about who I invited. Like, I was really careful, and I wanted to invite people that I thought would benefit the group, not necessarily benefit from the group.
Right. Well, I appreciate that, because that's kind of the thing now with the members. Are they, you know, I scroll through and I'm looking at the chatter, and one person was like, yeah, I was going to ask Cliff, like, what kind of people do we need to invite to the group? And I was like, look, just open-minded people yourself. Now, what I don't want is to go snatch somebody off your regular Facebook page, is like raising hell.
Right.
I mean, that it may be an opportunity there, it may not be. I don't know. You know, just kind of be led to who you feel.
Have to be protective of this space. This kind of space is not easy to create. It doesn't. It's special. That's that's why it's special.
And people keep telling me that, man, and it's kind of mind blowing, because to me it wasn't hard to do. I mean, I literally just created a group, invited 40 of my 500 some friends who I felt like would be intelligent enough. And I know that sounds mean, but open-minded enough and intelligent enough to bring in. And then in 2 weeks is like at 500 people, you know, and everybody's saying the same thing. So I literally have to pinch myself every morning, man. Just like, is this really happening? It's like I tell people, it was never about me. It's about us. And what my vision for Blended Lines is that I want us to be a family, which is why I say that all the time. I want us to be able to lean on each other in times that are difficult, you know, whether it's financially or whatever, you know. And so anyway, I'll talk your head off. You already know that. I want to get to Miss Gretchen, man, which, number one, I love the name Gretchen. So just tell the group a little bit about yourself and, you know, how you ended up in Blended Lines.
Okay. Well, I live here in Panama City. I moved here in 2018, right before Hurricane Michael. So I'm still recovering from that. And I have been an optician for the last 30 years.
Oh, okay.
In the middle of that, went back to school, got my English degree, and was an editor and a writer. And I've just recently left the optician world again, and I'm trying to freelance from home, writing and editing, proofing and stuff like that.
Okay.
And how I got to Blended Lines. I know that you said for you the switch was flipped with George Floyd, that you just had to do something. And for me, it was Ahmaud Arbery, that I just felt like I had to do something.
Right.
And, then George Floyd was murdered, you know, in broad daylight, in public, on camera, hands in his pocket. And I just was sent into a state of despair and hopelessness and helpless, just felt completely helpless. And my friend Amy Hamrick sent me an invite to this group.
Oh, Amy. Okay. Yeah. See, I'm getting to know everybody. Yeah.
So I you know, because of who sent it to me, I checked it out, and then I was just going to lurk. And then by day 2, I just was like, God, I just love these people. Like, this is weird. This is just not, I just think it's a sacred space.
Yeah. And see, it's so beautiful, man, because that day that I posted about, I want to interview an openly gay person, literally, like, I got it in my spirit to do it. And I went out there and I posted, it was like 5 minutes. All right. And then you came, and
I so didn't want to, but I felt like I was supposed to.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, and that's the beautiful part of it is, I can't tell you how many times I put something out there, and you may think I'm crazy, but seriously, like, I will put something out there that I feel needs to be put out there. Like, it hit me, I put it out there, and then somebody will chime in and be like, oh my God.
Right.
And so with you chimed in, and I was like, yeah, my girl Gretchen, you know. And honestly, we being real here, I didn't even know you were openly gay until you responded to the end. And I was like, oh, cool, you know. And then I even got more crunk when you told me that it's totally outside of your comfort zone. And, you know, I eat that stuff up, you know.
Because when you say, oh, you know, you're openly gay, but you didn't know, I mean, it's not something I advertise.
Right, right.
If someone asks, or I'm always surprised that people don't assume. It always surprises me when someone I work with or somebody I didn't know.
Right.
Like, how could you not know? But it is easy for me to hide.
Yeah. And you know, it it makes no difference to me. It's just like when you came in, I was like, okay, cool. I didn't know that, but hey, even better. And when you said that it's outside of your comfort zone, I was like, yes, man, because you know I'm all about getting people outside of their comfort zone, because
Right.
I feel like in order to truly fight racism, you have to be strong mentally and physically. And that's what I'm doing with the group, is trying to get people strong, emotionally strong and physically strong to combat this battle that's going on the outside.
Right.
We're dealing with some, as you already know, some pretty hateful people.
Yes. Yes.
And so we got to be ready. So in order to do that, you got to get outside that comfort zone. And look, everything that I tell you guys comes from personal experience. I have had to get outside of my comfort zone. It was ugly. It was painful. It was really uncomfortable, but I had to do it. And it made me the strong person that I am today.
Right.
So that's why anybody who's in that comfort zone, I'm going to push. But I guarantee you, after this interview today, and after you see how many people that you impact in a positive way, you're going to be like, man, I'm glad I did that. So when did you become gay, if you don't mind me asking? Like,
that's always a funny question, because, you know, it's I don't know when I became gay. I mean, I personally don't think it's a choice. So it's something I've always been. But, you know, when you're a child, you don't have vocabulary for that. You don't know that. I just always knew I was different, and I always knew how my family felt about that. So I learned to hide it. I learned what not to say. You know, you learn how to fit in.
right.
And I tried to change it. I mean, you know, I felt like that needed to be changed, which is why I think that's dangerous rhetoric when people say, I don't believe in homosexuality because of my religion. Well, just in that statement, you're making an assumption that it's a choice and that I should not choose this.
Right, right.
And I did fight it. And, you know, thankfully, there were some other adults in my life that, you know, one of them told me, God doesn't make mistakes, and you're trying to fix something that you think he messed up. Stop it, basically.
Right.
And that changed my whole perspective. But I had to come at God from a whole different way. I mean, I had to kind of kill off that Southern Baptist, you're going to hell, God, and you know, come back. This, you know, and
so I'm glad you brought that up, because I know me and my wife was talking one night. I think so. There's this it was not a new show, but it's a show that I just started watching called Posh. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. And Pose. Oh, sorry, Pose. And so, so it's about gay and transgender.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And so, you know, I was watching it, which is a really, really good show, by the way. And I was talking to her, and I was like, man, I just don't see how anybody that's gay would want to put themselves in a situation to where they could be killed or where they could be hurt or labeled. I was like, that don't really seem like.
Have your family disown you? I mean, who into that saying, okay, I want that. It's
right.
traumatizing, quite honestly.
Because I was going back and forth, like, I mean, where, you know, do they come into the world like that? Do they choose to be that? But then I'm looking at the bigger picture, like, man, I don't know anybody who would choose to go through hell.
Right. It's kind of crazy. I mean,
yeah, it is. I mean, like, so let's put it in the black frame mind, being black. We don't have a choice in that. Right.
And you can't hide that.
Yeah, and you can't hide that.
Right.
Exactly. Well, I can, but
you can't. Right.
But I mean, that's a joke, but seriously, you can't. So it's just like, I definitely don't feel like anybody would want to go down that route. But so being gay, just talk about some of have you experienced any like inequality or any negative things besides the family disowning?
Right. Besides the church and family, you know, I'm blessed with such wonderful friends, you know, people that very accepting. And again, I'm not really part of the gay community. I don't really have maybe 2 or 3, a handful of gay friends. Most of my friends are straight, and they're just wonderful people. So, but they're open-minded, you know, beautiful people. I gravitate to people like that, which is what I just love about this group. It's so diverse, and everyone just seems like somebody I would want to be friends with. You know, I'd want to hang out with everybody.
Right, right. Yeah, you already know, man. The whole vision for this group is just love, man. And I myself just personally feel like it's so much easier to love than to hate. To hate somebody, it takes so much energy,
So much more energy.
energy, and when you get angry, your blood pressure goes up, your face turn red. I mean, nothing about it is healthy, right?
Right.
But then when you love, you get the endorphins, you feel good, you got joy, you got happiness. Like every morning I wake up happy, man, because of this group and the people that I'm meeting, and it's all flavors in the group. Whether you bi, gay, straight, who cares? We just go love on each other and try to take on the world, right?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I spend very little time on the rest of Facebook. It's just so, icky out there. You come out there for a little bit and and then I just stay in this group and scrolling and reading all the comments. I just love it.
Yeah, and everybody says the same thing. And I'm gonna be honest, man, I don't really go out on my regular Facebook page anymore. It's just amazing, like when you go out there, the contrast between being on the Facebook page and in our group.
Of the way people talk to each other. It's just shocking. Yeah.
And when people come into the group, they'll often message me and just be like, Cliff, like, how did you get this group to be so like loving and respectful? I was like, it's nothing I did. It's just other people who were hungry like me for the same thing. And we just miraculously came together, and we all singing and singing Kumbaya and holding hands, right?
Right. Yeah. So the thing when a lot of people come together with the same,
Yeah, absolutely. So is there still a fear out there, with you being gay? Like, what the other day we were talking about when you're black, and some black people are uncomfortable going around white people because there's a trust factor there from all of slavery and racism. Being gay, is there a fear somewhere in there about like where you can go, what you can do? Is this person gonna hate me or anything like that?
Not really. No, because again, I don't advertise it, so I could easily walk in anywhere, any racist bar or whatever, and as long as I don't advertise it, I'm gonna be fine.
Right.
Now, if they knew, or if I walked in there holding hands with a woman, then yeah, I would. But again, it's easy for me to blend if I need to.
Right.
And not tell anyone that, or not have that out.
But would you have a problem like walking into a bar holding friends with your partner, to put it out there?
I would absolutely do it, but yes, it would be scary. Absolutely. Sure.
Okay.
Violent, angry people are terrifying.
Yeah. And that's what I was trying to get at, because the reason I want to talk about this is like I want to see if there is similarities between inequality when it comes to being gay and when it comes to being a person of color. I mean, I know you have a lot of the same repercussions, right? Which is hate, anger, people getting killed and whatnot. But I think one thing I struggle with is racism amongst people of color, and how gay people get treated the same. Do you think it's the same, or do you think it's different?
Well, I think that violence is always the same, but I think that's kind of where it ends. But I mean, I think it does give me some empathy, more empathy, because I know what it's like to be hated for something you can't control. Mm-hmm. But other than that, like I say, we can hide it if we need to. We don't have to come out. We don't have to do that. Where you do have to walk in the world, you have to be. So I think that's kind of where the similarities end there. But I will say, starting with the Stonewall riots in 1969 to gay marriage being legal in 50 states in 2015, gay rights has come a really long way, I feel like, in those 46 years, whereas racism, it hasn't. Wow. On the surface, it has. It looks like it has. We give it that illusion, but I've always, ever since I was very young, it's systemic. It's so ingrained in every institution that we can whitewash it and make it look. I mean, we had a black president.
Right.
But it's still there. It's still so deeply ingrained. And I just have never felt led to fight for any kind of gay rights. I just haven't.
Right.
Yes, I feel led to fight. I want to do. We got to do something about this.
Yeah, man, and you're stronger than you think, man. I mean, the fact that you're even on here. Look, I don't know if you see these comments, but you're getting a lot of love over here. Gretchen is amazing, and thank you so much, Gretchen, for your transparency. So lucky to have Gretchen Harris in my life. Sarah Cook. I mean, you're getting a lot of love. All right.
Yeah, I have some beautiful friends.
I can tell.
I
don't even know them, but just how they talk about you, like from the moment that I said we were going to interview, man, people were like going crazy, like, "Oh yeah, Gretchen, that's my girl," and I think that's what it's all about. Like, who cares what somebody is, what color they are? You know, if you're a good person, you're a good person. If you're an evil person, you're an evil person, and I don't have anything to do with you, you know, unless you're willing to learn. Do you think racism will ever go away?
I mean, wow. You know, so I want to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to say, but no.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we can get it enough to the fringes that it won't be so hurtful and impactful on the majority. But I don't see how it would ever go away.
You think do you think it has too many layers to it?
Yeah.
Religion, politics, and all of that.
It's so ingrained. And like I said, we'd have to dismantle every institution to really refix, you know, to rebuild it. And that's not really practical or possible. I don't know. So.
No, that's a good point. I mean, I never looked at it from that perspective, but yeah, you're right. You literally have to tear everything down to the foundation and build it back up, because people of color is not included in what
and how it was built.
Right.
That in itself is unfair. So how do you change that without going back and rebuilding it?
Right. No, I totally agree with you. So I know one thing. So I agree with you. All right. I think racism is going to be here for a while. I do feel good that we're kind of at this point.
Yes.
Because as a Black person, I've seen some stuff I've never seen in my life going on right now. Like the first thing that got me was like just a number of white people after George Floyd got murdered that came out and was, you know, standing with us. And every Black person, including myself at the time after George Floyd got murdered, were afraid to be optimistic, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because we've seen this over and over and over and over. And then like a protest will happen and people are pissed, and then everything's like back to normal.
And the anger fades.
Yeah, right. But with this one, it seemed different. You know, like I said, it was a lot of white people out there, and I was talking to a lot of white friends and whatnot. And when they were pissed, genuinely pissed. All right. And as a Black person, that meant a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? Because I've never labeled all white people as racist. But the fact that there was so many who could, and I could tell like they felt in their heart my pain. You know what I'm saying? And
but it's sad that it was kind of a surprise.
Yeah, right. And so after that, then, you know, all the corporations and stuff started coming. And, you know, I mean, I think it kind of got a little crazy. You know, like I didn't mind Aunt Your Mama being on the bottle, but I get it. You know, I see what they're trying to do.
Right. But okay, so they went a little too far on some of those things. But hey, look how much is getting done.
Right. And, yeah. If it's for the cause, hell yeah.
You'll let Aunt Jemima go if it's for the cause.
Hey, get up out of here. You know
right.
We're going to try to change as much stuff as we possibly can while we got this momentum going. But even with that, I still am nervous about being optimistic. And that's crazy.
Right. No, I get it. I completely understand.
And I've tried to. I just don't understand where the hate, and I'm just saying hate in general. You know, when I say hate, I'm combining, you know, homophobic people with
just hate. Yeah, that hatred.
Right. Like, I don't know where it's coming from and why there's so much of it. that's kind of what I struggle with.
And it has fear. I think all hatred comes from some kind of fear. I don't know, a fear of what exactly, just the other.
Right. No, I agree with you. No, I totally agree with you.
We don't understand. We're afraid of that.
And see, again, going back to, and I was just talking to Frank before we came on here, I was like, man, I think a lot of the issue where people just get angry and pissed off and label people is, I think, number one, there's an issue with themselves. All right. They don't know who they are. A homophobic person, hell, it might be that they're gay and they just mad at themselves, you know?
Right.
Something internally, I think that person is struggling with, and it's kind of like what they say, like, hurt people.
Yes.
So, you know, because they don't love themselves, they're definitely not going to love anybody else. And that's the thing, is that I want to try to get everybody in the group who's not already there to love themselves, because last year when I went through my darkest period, you know, where I had like a mental breakdown, I didn't know who Cliff was. You know, I had lost complete touch with who I was, what I enjoyed doing, what I liked, what my passions were, all of that. And I remember I used to go to my wife. She's an entrepreneur, and she has this notebook where she's writing all these ideas down. And I used to be like, I'm not getting any ideas. What's wrong with me? You know, and then I'm
broken.
Yeah, no, seriously. Like, I felt like I was broken.
Yeah.
That's the perfect word for it, broken. And that's why there's a big mental health aspect to the group, is because I'm taking what I've been through and what I've learned, because I have a psychiatrist and a therapist who I love, and I'm all about it. And everything they teach me, I just turn around and throw it into the group. So it's almost like free therapy, right?
Right.
Because it definitely works. And it's basically, it boils down to talking about what you're going through. That's why I want this to be a safe place. The number one reason why people have mental breakdowns is because they're not sharing what they're going through.
Right.
And then the other thing was, you know, the exercise and some type of, 30 minutes of exercise. And so my psychiatrist told me, as long as you have those two, exercise and just being able to communicate with other people, it's a natural remedy for depression and anxiety.
Right. Yeah. And this group has helped me so much with just being happier every day.
Yeah. It's the same with me too. Right. And that's what I want, man. And I appreciate you guys, especially you, Gretchen, man, like coming on here. This is the first time I've ever interviewed, I'm somebody that's gay. I've been around gay people most of my life, but I never just really sat down to get in the head and, and ask these tough questions. But, I'm super geeky. So it's like, I'm going to be interviewing all kind of people. Somebody's already reached out to me. She has a disability, and she wants me to interview her so she can talk about the inequality and this stuff that people with disabilities go through.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it just keeps growing. You see, it's like these layers, man. We got to back right.
Just such beautiful people in this group. I just am so amazed and feel blessed every day that this group found me.
Hey, man, look. So, are you gonna bring chicken to the cookout?
I'm gonna eat somebody else's chicken. I'll bring the brownies.
Okay. It's amazing how that chicken thread just goes on for days in the group about who watches their chicken.
To me, that probably got more comments than anything we talked about.
And that's the beauty of the group, man. Is like we could talk about something as serious as like George Floyd, and then we could talk about as something as silly as like how do you cook eggs correctly,
right? And I think that's part of what keeps it calmer, because we've got to be serious all the time. We can only talk about what happened in the news today or what, something intense. We can talk about that stuff, and then we can laugh about who doesn't wash their meat.
Right, exactly. So what are you doing? Like, what do you feel like? Let me ask from a white perspective. What do you think the white community needs to do to kind of help bridge the gap?
Well, first and foremost, to confront that racism is real and that it's systemic. That's a problem in my own family, that they just They don't want to hear that. They don't, they're racist. I mean, they're not KKK members, but it's subtle and it's covert, and they're racist. So I think first and foremost, you've got to acknowledge that it's there. Right. Yes, it is there, because you can't fix something if you're determined to keep saying it's not broken.
Right. That's true. Yeah, I get you on that. So as far as the Black community, another reason for this group was, a lot of white people were afraid. They had a lot of questions they wanted to ask, Black people, and they were very passionate about wanting to learn, but then also afraid that they get labeled or they ask the wrong thing and get snapped on or cursed out. Within the group, do you feel like you're comfortable enough to where you can ask anything, ask that person anything?
Yes. And I feel like I could ask a stupid question.
Okay. Right.
And I would be told it was a stupid question, which I would appreciate. but I don't feel like I'd be kicked out or insulted. And you know what I mean?
Right.
I hope I wouldn't ask a stupid question, but yes, I feel like I could ask anything.
Right. And that's the beauty about the safe place, is that we want to ask stupid questions.
Right.
So and I mean, look, and I'm gonna be honest, like I want to get an Asian person on. God, I get so nervous, man, when I talk about Asian, because again, this is me being vulnerable. I don't feel like I know enough about what's considered derogatory. Like I know saying Oriental is not cool, right?
Right.
But again, I don't have a lot of Asian friends, so it's like I'm gonna be honest. I get nervous. Like I'm scared I'm gonna say something stupid or derogatory if I talk to an Asian person. And so this is why I like these interviews, because I want to learn. Like, if I say something stupid, please let me know.
Right. The only way we would learn is to be called out for it.
Right. Absolutely. And I'm glad that you're giving me that feedback, that you do feel like this is a safe place. Now, look, don't get me wrong. This group isn't for everybody, because people have left the group because, in my opinion, they just felt like when somebody else came with a different opinion, they got like really pissed off. And I just feel like either the skin isn't tough enough, or you're just not open to disagree with people.
But that's part of what makes this group special, is that it's not for everyone.
Right. Bam. That's it. I had to clap for you on that one. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I've had people come to me and say, hey, I don't believe in this, or, I'm leaving the group because this was said. And I don't beg anybody to stay. Right. And I tell them, look, I appreciate you. We will always be here if you choose to come back. And then it's like deuces, I'm out. So, and I think over time, the group is going to kind of filter out. There's a lot of people, and I had this discussion with Frank. There's a lot of people who aren't saying anything, but Frank pointed out to me, but Cliff, that's good, because just because they're not saying anything doesn't mean they're not learning or taking anything in.
You can plant a seed that may not grow for years down the road.
Right. And see, and I need to hear that, because I'm that individual with the ADHD mind that I have. It's like I like for things to happen pretty quick.
Right.
So it's like if I don't get that confirmation immediately, sometimes I get discouraged. Sometimes I get kind of pissy, where it's like, man, it's like 900 some people in the group and only like 150 are responding.
Right.
But Frank put me on, and he said, look, Cliff, just because they're not responding, they may be slow to warm up. They may need to fill it out first before they want to pass the word or start talking. And that is the beauty of having a conversation.
Right.
When he told me that, I was like, oh, you know what? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I get that. You're right.
And not all these conversations are comfortable, and not everybody's ready for that. So
I'm so glad you said that, man. And I've said this before in the group because I really feel this in my spirit, man. But don't worry, because we got y'all back. I feel like white people are really about to go through hell, the ones that are standing with us, because after the 4th of July, and I chimed in and I was like, how was everybody's weekend? You know, mental health check-in. You know, I love my mental health check-ins. And so many people were like, man, I got beat up over the 4th because I was with family and friends, and the Black Lives Matter topic came up, and they was dropping the N-word, and they just were defeated, you know, and that's from their own family. All right. And it's like I tell people, I say the white people are about to get a smidgen of a taste of what Black people have been dealing with for many, many, many years. But I just always tell people, man, look, stay strong. That's why I'm trying to build people up to be strong. Like, I'm mentally and physically strong. Last year, I was the weakest I have ever been in my life. And now it's like I just got confidence oozing out of my skin, you know.
So we're gonna have, you have to pick a side. This is a type of war. It's a type of civil war.
It is.
You know, in our first civil war, look at how many families were divided on what side they fought on.
Right.
And, I mean, it's happening now. I don't talk to my family. We can't talk. You know, we can't talk about anything that's going on in the world.
And you know, that it really does break my heart when I hear that. And that, I mean, there are many people in the group who are white that's going through that right now. You know, I posted the other day, I think it was yesterday, if you had a best friend, you know, and so many people came in and was like, yeah, that just happened to me, or yeah, I got family that I don't talk to. And I know one individual was like, you know, she's not talking to her family and she hates them. And I was like, I don't know, man, that word hate just makes me cringe. And I was like, nah, the world has enough hate. Let's not just say, like, let's feel sorry for them. You know what I mean? Because the world got enough hate as it is.
Yes, absolutely it does. And that stuff is everywhere. I mean, it's.
So eventually when this COVID goes away, because I'm so sick of it.
God, I'm too.
I really can't wait to get outside of this group, man, and get to meet everybody. I want to take Blended Lines outside of just the Facebook world. I want to get it out in the communities, you know, out in the streets.
And some action.
Yeah. Like, I'm all about action. We can talk all day.
Right.
I will say this. How we looking on time? Okay, we looking good. At the end of the day, when I go to bed, I feel so good that at least I'm trying to do something to bridge the gap. Because before Blended Lines, after George Floyd got murdered, like, I don't know, man. I think that just took a lot of breath out of a lot of people. And for me, it was not only it took the breath out of me. Now, mind you, I haven't watched the video, and I don't think I ever will, because I'm very protective of my eye gate, because it's like when I watch something, it's not like I can hit the delete button.
Well, once you see something, you can never get it out of your head.
Right, exactly. And so, like you, I wasn't over Ahmaud yet.
Right.
And then when that happened, I was like, okay, I'm not watching that. I mean, my wife, she told me what happened on the video, and I was just like, stop.
I watched it because I felt like I needed to.
No, that's fine. Yeah, it's gonna be different for everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I mean, yeah, I watched it because I felt like I needed to, and it was absolutely horrifying.
Yeah, I don't think I ever be able to bring myself.
No, I mean, you don't need to.
Yeah, but and really a lot of it was because I've seen it before, and the other thing was to protect my mental health.
Right.
You know, people have to realize that racism has a huge impact on your mental health and trauma. And I just thank God that I've been able to make it out without hating all white people, just having a hateful heart, instilling that in my boys. You know, I've already talked to my boys about racism. I've talked to him about, you know, being gay. Actually, my son's best friend is gay. All right. I'm not going to mention any names. All right. My son is 10. All right. His best friend is 11. And he started posting some real dark stuff, you know what I'm saying, on the web. His friend did. And I remember I polled the group. I don't know if you was in the group then or not, but I polled a group and I was like, yo, you know, my son's friends saying some dark stuff. He also mentioned he was gay. Do I tell the parents? And I struggled, like, I didn't know if I should tell him like everything or just saying like, look, he's typing some dark stuff. You need to talk.
Like gonna harm himself?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And so what ended up happening was I talked to his mom, but I didn't tell her that he was gay only because somebody in the group told me like, you may not want to share that information if you don't already know how the household is.
Right. You don't know what they'll do to him.
Yeah, yeah. And so, man, I was just in such a predicament where it was like, it was two things that I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with, he's already talking about harming himself. And then if I drop this info and they like beat the hell out of him or something, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's just a terrible situation.
But yeah, it goes back to that rhetoric being dangerous, that it's something that you should choose not to be. Young people absorb all that. They hear you talking. They know how you feel. And the suicide numbers are staggering of young gay people that they just can't handle it.
Wow.
You're isolated from everybody. You know, your grandma won't speak to you. You know, it's a scary thing to be all alone in the world. And
yeah, I mean, that's what made me, number one, want to do this, is because, look, we're not going to be able to change everybody's mind. Let's be honest. Okay. But I just want to show people like, man, look, if you are, and this is Cliff, let me put this out here. This is Cliff's opinion. All right. If y'all around here worried about like somebody's sexuality and what they doing in that area, man, look, it's bigger issues going on in the freaking world right now. All right. I mean, where we are right now in 2020 is like a freaking movie. You know, like what's going to happen next? An asteroid going to hit the planet?
Right.
And I just want to get people to see like, look, we got to come together, man. You know, all this division, whether they gay, straight, bi, transgender, who gives a rip? You know, we got to come together for the bigger cause to fight this good versus evil. Because at this point, I literally think it's like good versus evil.
Oh, it definitely is. Absolutely.
Because it's like, I don't know, man, like the older baby boomer generation, like it is just, and I'm not speaking for all because we got some in the group. It's just very difficult to change their mind.
They don't want to hear it. And it's uncomfortable. Again, it's very uncomfortable for them to come to terms with how big a part they've had in this problem that's been created. So I get it, but it's not going to change until you are ready to look at it and say, yeah, it's here, it exists, we created it, we gotta fix it. How do we fix it?
So do you think them having to self-reflect and then know that they're going to have guilt and stuff like that from contributing to that, you think that's a lot of the reason why they don't want to accept it?
Yes, that's painful, and then nobody wants to do that.
Yeah. Looking
at yourself and doing painful things is not fun, but it's the only way you grow. You know, like, you know, I so didn't want to do this.
Yeah, right.
You know, it's how you grow, and you have to be willing to
just do it.
To just do it. Exactly.
Right, man. You just, like you told me, do it for the betterment of the world and society.
Right.
I man, like that needs to go like on a poster.
Yeah, my being quiet's not helping anybody.
Yeah, I mean, right, exactly. And look, if one person walks away from this interview inspired by you today, like another gay person out there, or somebody may be in the closet and they're terrified to come out, what I hope is that them, by seeing you, gives them the inspiration to just say, you know what, I'm gonna love me, I'm gonna be who I want to be, and I'm not gonna give a rip about what other people think. You know, stick your chest out, hold your head up high.
You have to be authentic, and living authentically is not easy.
No, it's not. And I'm glad you brought that up. When I was a child, because I noticed, man, like I think in the group, I think there's just a lot of like crazy, weird people in the group, but I mean that in a good way.
People, absolutely.
Yeah, because I'm one of them. Like I was always like the geeky kid, and this is gonna really trip you out right here. When I was younger, all of my friends used to call, this is so bad, but women like bitches and hoes, right? When they go out, and I could never say it. And I remember I was like talking to God one day, and I was like, God, why can't I, be ugly like that? Or walk up to a woman and say, hey, bitch, come here, or something like that. I could never do it. But as I got older, I saw that being different is okay. Being different is a superpower.
It is. It's a better way to be.
It is. Being different is a blessing,
But it's not always comfortable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's going to be very uncomfortable, but it's going to make you unstoppable, because when you go through all of those challenges and you still come out on the end, it's like turning into a diamond, from coal to diamond. So I'm in my diamond phase right now. Like I'll tell anybody, you can't stop me, and you may think I'm arrogant, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, that's why I have the beautiful friends I have, because
you do, man. And
they're all different.
I'm so grateful that you took the opportunity to come on here and share your story.
Thank you.
I can tell you how proud I am of you, because I'm gonna be honest, when you was like, let me think about it, Cliff, I was just like, oh boy, she gonna hit me with the big no in the morning. But you came back, you was just like, you know what, I'm gonna do it for the betterment of society and for the world. And I love that, man. So
for the group, because I love this group.
Well, I appreciate it, man. And we love you, and we here for you. And if you need anything, you family. So we got you. I'm
excited about the picnic.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, exactly. I'm still ain't eating nobody chicken if it's not washed, though. I'm sorry. Not go happen. Well, look, Gretchen, look, girl, I appreciate you. I love you. You keep being you. You keep doing what you're doing.
Keep doing what you're doing.
A lot of people look up to you, man, and I appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Well, look, you have a good one. I always make people give me the fist bump before I leave. All right. You have a good one, girl. Love you, girl.
See you on the page.
All right. Bye.